people. So, this week's video, I have a lovely little piece that I created for a friend's birthday. She actually wanted everyone to go and visit a nearby island and walk and bike around and be in nature for her birthday party. So I actually have a couple clips of that smattered. That's not a word. Spread throughout this video, so I hope you enjoy those. They're just nice little moments that I thought would be nice to share. This piece is in the style of something I've done before, but I actually didn't record it at all. It's using materials that I got from the Jake Parker Inktober book from last year, or not book, the Jake Parker Inktober box from last year that Art Snacks does every year. And it's a very expensive box, but the supplies are wonderful. I'm not sure if I'm going to get it this year or not, but I got it last year, and that's where I got these materials from. The materials specifically included some water-based markers and a paper called a rag paper. It's like a super thick, soft watercolor type paper. And this paper is beautiful. Its texture is, it is cloth-like. You don't get the bumps and grooves like you do with some of the rougher pressed watercolor papers, but it's dense and there's just a fibrousness to it that's beautiful. Like I said, I've done this technique before, where I actually end up using the water-based markers like watercolor markers. I put down a little bit of color with the marker, and then I take a wet paintbrush and just scrub at it to pick up the color. This technique would not work with a less strong paper because you really do sometimes scrub to push the color around, but you just get a really neat, soft watercolor appearance, and it's really fun to do. There's just no stress, calm, chill, arting. You can just put down a little bit of color and then blend it out and put down a little bit more color. And of course you do have to be careful. You can see in the end of the marker there is a little bit of pilling. And that's probably just because I kept putting more color on wet areas. Just go slow and enjoy it. You do have to move a little quickly between when you put the marker down because it does soak into the paper rather quickly. And if you want to spread the color out and not have a distinct marker line, you gotta be ready. Most of this drawing I was sitting there with a pencil in one hand and a paintbrush in the other, just rotating between them. So the island we visited was called Ven. It's off the coast of Landskrona. We took a ferry out there. You walk up this big hill, or you can bike up, and towards the center of the island they have museums and restaurants and other things. My husband and I decided to walk. We had never been, and it was beautiful. Here you can really see me using the two utensils in one hand, because it really was quick switching between the two. There's just something so lovely about doing art this way. Whenever I use just straight my watercolors like I normally do, lean very heavily into vibrancy and like intense colors. Whereas I feel like when you are taking just ink from a pen and watering it down, at least for me, it encourages a softness that I'm not used to doing. And it also pushes a more gentle saturation because you are using so much of the white of the paper and you are watering down the color so much. The subjects of this painting are her 2 pet rabbits. This friend works at the school with me in Sweden. She's originally from Canada, so she left her lovely bunnies behind, and in the past has asked me to do some art of them. And she asked me for a big project that I've been intimidated by, which is why I haven't done it yet. She wanted like this cool, crazy Zelda themed painting, which I'm totally down for still doing. It's just a lot to figure out logistics for. So I already had references of these cute little bunnies, so that made this a little easier. If you see those little bumps on the paper, I actually put down some masking fluid to protect the paper and keep the white. I can get a little carried away with the washes, and with eyes being so small, you gotta be careful. I mean, I could have gone in with a white gel pen, and I was really tempted to, but I think it just, having it be proper white of the paper lends to, you know, the naturalism of everything. With this technique, you can see also, even if you put down a very, very saturated color, once you kind of blend it out, you can get some really nice, soft, almost like stain like colors. You've got to put the water down pretty fast. At this point, I am holding 3 utensils, 2 open markers, and a paintbrush. The actual rabbit was like a reddish blonde color, so I wanted to make sure it didn't appear to be a yellow rabbit, which is why I'm holding more of an orangey brown, but also it was definitely more yellow than the spots on the lovely spotty bunny. I'm not sure if this is, you know, supposed to be an appropriate use for water-based markers. I enjoy doing it. I had a good solid laugh because Jazza from Draw with Jazza recently did, I don't know if it was recently, it was like a month ago. In the not too distant past, Jazza did a video about water-based markers to follow up with his alcohol-based marker challenge, and he seemed quite frustrated with ways to use watercolor markers. So, not that I think he will ever see this video or have any interest in seeing my content, but Jazza, look, there are more than one ways to use these markers. And like, this one's really fun and cool. Anyway, it was a fun, calm painting to do. fun to push and pull different colors. Normally, even with this technique, I'll throw in random like pinks and blues and yellows, but I was really enjoying the warm color scheme. I did put a little bit of blue in with the gray for the background just to pop off of all of the oranges. And I'm really glad I put down the masking fluid for the kind of cage bars because I really like how it looks. They're not particularly straight or anything, but neither is the rest of this painting. So yeah. But I think it turned out kind of neat. I like the push and pull of the grays and blues for the background. And then came the fun part of removing the masking. I know I've said this before, but I find using a little bit more of a flexible eraser is a little bit better for removing masking fluid. But then the peeling up is the fun part. Even if the camera won't focus on it, because it's a really tiny, skinny piece of masking fluid. The birthday party was a lot of fun, the dinner was delicious, and it was fun to get an experience I'd never had before. Even though I live so close to this island, me and my husband had never really had a chance to visit, and it was such a beautiful day. My hands are covered in marker. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this art piece. It's messy, but it's charming. I'm proud of it. She really enjoyed it. When I removed it from the sketchbook, it tore a little bit and I cried. But anyway, thank you. Thank you to my patrons. Mom, Dad, Jamie, Hans, Kaze, and Cindy. And I hope you guys are having a lovely summer and the next couple months will continue to be nice. Alright, bye.